Okay. All right. It's already live streaming. Okay. Already live. Okay. All right. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome for today's continuous discussion on Nectar of Devotion. So today is a very interesting day. Today is 9th December 2025. So today we're going to continue discussion on chapter 37, Impetuses for Krishna's Service. It's going to be a very interesting topic. So before we start, let's do our invocation prayer. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manopistam Stapidam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swaparantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Uttapadakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagarajadam Shahagana Raghunathan Vidam Tam Sajivam Satvaitam Savaduta Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishnakan Vidamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimadi Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasacharistanine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimadi Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Namine Shri Varshabhanavine Vidaitai Kripabdaye Krishna Sambandha Vignanadaine Prabhave Namaha Madhuryo Jula Premadya Sri Rupanuga Bhakti Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namaste Namaste Gauravani Shri Purtai Dinatarini Rupanuga Virudha Pasitanta Harini Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshat Vairagya Murtaye Vipralambra Sambodhe Padam Bhujaiti Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sachidanandanamine Gaura Shakti Sarupai Rupanuga Vraite Gauravir Bhava Bhumestum Nidasa Sajana Priya Vaishnava Sarubhauma Sri Jagannath Taite Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyacha Paditanam Pavinibhya Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vishari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Namo Shripada Krishna Putari Shrimadi Jayapata Swami Tinam Nina Acharya Padai Nitai Kripa Pradai Gaura Kata Dam Dai Nagara Tani Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Sri Gurum Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hariom Tatsat. Okay, so we're going to continue our discussion after the last we gathered on Friday, and of course after a few days it's we are starting back again today. So today we're going to start our new chapter. That means chapter 37. Chapter 37, the title is Impetuses for Krishna Service. Okay, so Ata Uddipanaha Anugrahasya Sampraptis Tashyangri Rajasam Tata Bhuktas Bhukta Vasishta Bhaktadir Apitad Bhakta Sangatihi Iti Adyo Vibhavaha Siur Eshvasa Dharana Mataha. So in this verse, it says, the causeless mercy of Krishna, the dust of his lotus feet, his prasada and association with his devotees are some impetuses or important thing towards devotees' engagement in transcendental loving service to the Lord. All right. So what are the things that we see here? Number one is the causeless mercy of Krishna, the dust of his lotus feet, his prasada, and association with his devotees. This is very important. Impetuses towards a devotee's engagement in the transcendental loving service to the Lord. So now we see here Krishna exhibited his causeless mercy when he was present in the departure of grandfather Bhishma. Okay, so he exhibited his causeless mercy. All right, when he present, all right, when he present at the departure of grandfather Bhishma, The grandfather Bhishma was in the bed of arrow and about to leave his body, and Lord Krishna was there. All right. So during the battle of Kurukshetra, Bhishma Dev, the grandfather of Arjuna, was lying on the bed of arrows before departing from this mortal world. But when Lord Krishna, Maharaj Yudhishthira, and other Pandavas approached Bhishma Dev, he was very grateful to the Lord, okay, Lord Krishna, and he addressed the Brahmana military commander, Kripacharya, thus. He said, "My dear Kripacharya, just see the wonderful causeless mercy of Lord Krishna. I am most unfortunate. I have no qualification. I was opposing Krishna's most intimate friend, Arjuna. I even tried to kill him. I have so many disqualifications, and yet the Lord is still so kind that he came to see me at the last point of my life. He is worshipable by all great sages, but still he is so merciful that he has came to see an abominable person like me." All right. So sometimes the vibration of Lord Krishna's flute. Okay, sometimes the vibration of Lord Krishna's flute. Which flute is this? They're talking about Murali. Right. So Lord Krishna's flute, he's buggling, he's smiling, his footmarks on the ground, the transcendental fragrance of his body, and the appearance of new cloud in the sky, also because of impetus of the ecstatic love for him. So in the Vigada Madhava, okay, there's a book called Vigada Madhava. There's also a following statement. It says, when Krishna was playing on his flute, okay, Baladev was very anxiously declared. Baladev is his brother, right? Balaram. He anxiously declared, he said, just see, after hearing the transcendental sound of Krishna's flute, Indra, the king of heaven, is crying in his heavenly kingdom. And from his teardrops falling on the ground, Vrindavan appears to have become celestial residence for the demigods. Now, ecstatic love for Krishna, which is known as Anubhava. Okay, so we have discussed that last week, right? So the ecstatic love of Krishna, which is also known as Anubhava, is symptomized by the following sign. Okay, now it's important. So now we're going to make what are the symptoms of Anubhava. All right. So through the signs. Okay, what are the signs and symptoms of Anubhava or the ecstatic love? Okay, so they are: one becomes engaged exclusively in the service of the Lord. Okay, first they become engaged exclusive service. All right, so they start to engage in exclusive service of the Lord, and then being attentive to carry out the orders of the Lord faithfully. Okay, they carry out the order of the Lord faithfully. One becomes undisturbed and non-envious in full transcendental loving service to the Lord. And one makes friendship with the devotees of the Lord who are situated in faithful service to him. So all these symptoms are called Anubhava or ecstatic love. So let's look at this. Right, okay. Now, ecstatic love for Krishna or Anubhava, the symptoms following signs. That means number one is they become engaged in exclusive service. Number two, in the service of the Lord, being attentive. They are, first of all, they become very attentive to carry out the orders of the Lord faithfully. And the most important one is becomes undisturbed. Undisturbed means what? We know in this place, we are always disturbed. There's no way we are not disturbed. We are disturbed by news. We are disturbed by environment. We are disturbed by bodily, then we are disturbed mentally. So we are always disturbed. So that's why you can add this in your journal. Whenever you feel disturbed, whenever you go into anxiety, whenever you go into frustration, whenever you become a kind of like your mind give you disturbance, your body give you disturbance, your relationship give you disturbance, immediately just tell yourself. Okay. Of course, you tell yourself by writing it in a journal. What you can say, look here, I am not disturbed. I don't allow myself to be disturbed. Because you know why? Because if I am disturbed, I cannot serve Krishna. Okay. So one becomes undisturbed. That means I cannot experience Anubhava if I am disturbed. So consciously you try to overcome your whatever challenges that you're facing. But the most important also, non-envious. This envy is the most dangerous kind of element. Okay. Okay. So Envious. Envious is something which is really a very, very negative side. What they call envious in Tamil, vaitharichal. All right. So we discussed this so many times about envy. Envy is the most dangerous thing. When we become envy, when we become like, the envy is born from hatred. Okay, born from hatred. Your hatred becomes so intense, you become envious. In that envious condition, you also wish that person to die, wish the person this thing. Any struggle that person goes through, you tend to have a big smile. So it's totally a demoniac quality. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, envy, lust, and anger. Okay, envy, lust, and anger is the royal road to hell. So if we so check ourselves, do I have envy in me? Because it says in order to have this anubhava, okay, we have to become undisturbed. We have to become non-violent and non-envious. All right. So non-envious, then in full transcendental loving service to the Lord. All right. At the same time, we mix friendship with the devotees of the Lord. Okay. And situated in faithful service to him. Okay. Him to means to Krishna. So that means, in other words, so in order for us to experience anubhava, so this is some of the qualities which is we must be very careful. All right. So the thing is, we become first, okay, become engaged exclusively. Okay, that is this thing, and carry out the orders of the Lord faithfully. Okay, that's another thing. But the most important character that we should develop in ourselves. What is the most important character that we should develop? All right. The most important character is we have to become undisturbed and non-envious. This is the quality that we have to acquire. All right. So whenever you are disturbed, tell yourself, okay, if I am disturbed, I can never experience anubhava. All right. Anubhava. So in order for me to experience anubhava, we can consciously, all right, with our mind, we can try to overcome it. Okay. So now, so this in the first symptoms of anubhava. What is the first symptoms of anubhava? Or engagement in a particular type of service. Okay, is exemplified. Okay, what is the example of this? By Daruka. Daruka is one of the servants of Krishna who used to fan Krishna with chamara or the bunch of hair. They call the yak tail. Okay, so Daruka is an example, all right, that exemplified Daruka. That means symptoms of anubhava or engaged in one particular type of service. So when he was engaged in such service, he was filled with ecstatic love. He is filled with love. And the symptoms of ecstatic love became manifest in his body. But Daruka was so serious about his service. He's so serious that he checked all these manifestations of ecstatic love. Now let's look at this statement. Checked all these manifestations. So as I say, it is possible. Even at the thing that Krishna is right in front and is fanning chamara, and he gets so much ecstasy, he could still maintain his ecstasy. Okay, why you want to maintain? Because of ecstatic love and consider them to be hindrance. Even that kind of ecstatic can be hindrance to his engagement. He did not care very much for this manifestation, although they automatically develop. So the envy, lust, anger will automatically develop. Fair enough. But we can also have this thing called, we just don't care much about this manifestation. And this is all what he do? Just by this thing called, he always check. He always check. So like that, we also have to check what is the manifestation that I'm going through. What are the, these kind of things. Okay. So again, how we say that? Through the journaling system, it is possible. And before that, I want to ask you, am I clear? Why I feel I'm so dark in the screen? Am I clear for everyone?
Very clear.
Yes,
Very clear. That means that it's not that I'm like dark. That's why I'm just saying the light is on. So, yes, Nanda Mataji?
no, Prabhu, as usual, normal only.
Oh, normal, huh? Okay. Oh, is it my eyes? Okay. Because I see that I'm so dark in the screen.
Low sugar,
Okay, anyway.
Prabhu.
Sorry?
Low sugar.
Low sugar?
Ah, low sugar can make you feel dark in front, your vision.
Low sugar, okay. No, because I was thinking maybe my camera got problem, or is it too bright here, or my background is too bright. So that's what I was asking.
Yes, it looks as normal.
Normal, eh? All right, okay. Now, in Srimad Bhagavatam, 10 Canto, 86 chapter, verse 38. Okay, what he says? Shruta Devo Chutam, Praptam Swargam Janakuyata, Natva Munimscha, Sanghristo, Dunman Vasho, Hanartaha. So here it says, there is a statement of how Shrutadeva, who is Shrutadeva? A Brahmana from a country called Mithila, in a place called Northern India. All right, the place called Northern India, Mithila. So what happened? Became so overpowered by the joy as soon as he saw Krishna. He became so overpowered with joy that he immediately, after bowing down to the lotus feet, he stood up and began to dance, raising his two arms above his head. All right. So it says that one of the devotees of the Lord Krishna once addressed him in this manner. My dear Lord, although you are not a professional dancer, so the devotee was saying to the Lord, he says, my dear Lord, although you are not a professional dancer, but by your dancing, you have so astonished us that we can understand that you are personally the master of all dancing. Okay, he's the master of all dancing. Certainly, you must have learned this dancing art directly from the goddess of love. Who's the goddess of love? Srimati Radharani. So when a devotee dances in ecstatic love, there are manifestation of symptoms which are called sattvika. So what is sattvika means? Is means that they are from the transcendental platform. Okay, they are not symptoms. That means they are not the symptoms of material emotion. They came from the soul proper. So that's the thing. So that's why whenever we see, when the kirtan, when people are singing Hare Krishna, dancing here and there, they usually, everyone will become so ecstatic and they get so excited. And what happened? They will become what do you call? They will immediately start dancing, dance in ecstasy, right? So that's why, like for instance, like my father, okay, well, it was at first initially it was not so favorable for me to become a Hare Krishna devotee. Whenever there's a kirtan, he'll be standing in one corner, and suddenly without him realizing, he will start to dance. So this kind of dancing, where this thing come from, right? So what he says, these symptoms of material emotion, they came from the soul. So from within, from the original source. Okay. Now, in Srimad Bhagavatam also 10 Canto, chapter 8, chapter verse 38, Sukadev Goswami says, Sa Indra Sheno Bhagavat Padanujam Vibran Muhu Prema Vibinnaya Diya Uvacha Hananda Jala Kulekshanaha Prahrista Roma Nirpa Gadgadaksharam. Okay, it says Sukadev Goswami tells Maharaj Parikshit that after surrendering everything unto the lotus feet of Vamana Dev, okay, after surrendering everything, who Bali Maharaj immediately caught hold of the lotus feet of the Lord. After surrendering everything, he immediately caught hold of the lotus feet of the Lord. And what he did? He pressed them to his heart. Being overwhelmed with joy, he manifests all the symptoms of ecstatic love with tears in his eyes and faltering voice. So, Ata Vyabhicharana. So, in such expression of ecstatic love, of Vyabhich, okay, there are many other subsidiary symptoms. All right. First, we are talking about the main symptoms here in the expression of ecstatic love. All right. There are also many what they call subsidiary symptoms. Okay. So let's see what are the subsidiary symptoms, such as jubilation. Okay. There's a subsidiary symptoms. Okay. That is jubilation. We become ecstatic, ecstasy, withering, silence, disappointment, moroseness. Moroseness is part of that supplementary. Yeah? Yes. Reverence, thoughtfulness, remembrance, doubtfulness, confidence, eagerness, indifference, restlessness, impudence, shyness, inertness, illusion, madness, ghastliness, contemplation, dreaming, disease, sign of death. All these are considered the subsidiary symptom. Can anyone recall? Can anyone recall and give me one example of these symptoms? We talk about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. The 23 symptoms. Okay. Can anyone just give one example, Prabhus and Mothers? Can you recall any of these one example? Anyone? Gandhi Mataji? Or Nandari Mataji? Can you just recall one? Vaishnava Prabhu?
When
Yes.
Rasa dance was going on very well,
Okay.
the sudden disappearance of Lord Krishna.
Haribol. Okay. And
That is
yeah.
disappointment, Bill.
That is what?
Disappointment.
Disappointment. Okay. That means you're talking about disappointment. And what else the emotion started? First disappointment, then?
Sometimes they're colliding and disappointment also down is there, Babu.
But see, at the peak of the excitement, suddenly when Krishna disappeared, they became very disappointed.
Yeah.
And the second, they also become very morose. Yes or not?
Yeah.
They become very morose. Then after that, what else they had? They became so restless. Okay, they are running here and there. Then they went into madness.
Yeah.
So these are some of the symptoms that we find it in that expression of ecstatic love of Krishna. All right, in that ecstatic love, this is some of the symptoms that usually we see. Okay, now when a devotee meets Krishna, okay, this is going to happen eventually. When you're going to meet Krishna one day, there are some symptoms of jubilation. You'll be jubilation, that means excitement. You'll be pride and perseverance. Okay. And when he's feeling great separation from Krishna, the symptoms of ghastliness, disease, and signs of death become prominent. All right. So, example, when you see a Krishna, a person will become jubilant, and sometimes there'll be a pride. Oh, I have met. Imagine when suddenly you meet Anwar Ibrahim, you shake hand with him, right? You take photo with him. All right. So without you realizing, there's some kind of a sort of pride will start to manifest in you. Pride. Wow, look at this. Right? So that means the symptoms of jubilation, pride, and perseverance. All right? It manifests. But when there's a separation from Krishna is not an ordinary separation. It is a crazy separation. It is a great separation. People cannot tolerate. Okay. At that moment, what happened? Ghastliness will start to appear. Ghastliness. And there will be a disease. And there will be also sign of death will become prominent. Example, when the gopis all can't wait, right? Can't wait to, they cannot tolerate the separation. All right? They went around hugging the tree. Are you that Krishna? Are you that? They all became mad. You know, they're hugging the tree. They are just crying and howling. They are not maintaining themselves, you know. And they what? They wanted to commit suicide. They want to kill themselves. But at the moment they want to, the thought of suicide, then they say, oh, what happened if Krishna comes tomorrow? All right, let me delay another one more day. And next day when the thought comes, what happened? Krishna comes tomorrow. Like that, they spent 100 solid years expecting Krishna will come tomorrow, 100 years has passed. All right. So, like that. Okay. So, that's a great separation. And imagine, like some devotees I've seen, like we all in a normal condition state of mind. we have not seen Krishna, this thing. But the feeling, the reciprocation, it's so intense sometimes, right? Imagine the thinking about it, talking about it, reciprocate about it, it gives so much of ecstatic. And imagine when you meet him, what will happen, right? When you meet him, like Rukmani Devi, they have not met Krishna at all. She have not met Krishna. She heard about Krishna. So she wrote a love letter to him and says, please come and kidnap me. All right. So similarly, we also can do that. We can write down in our journal. In journal is your expression of your mind and thought. My dear Krishna, I can't take this material condition life anymore. What taking you long? Please come and take me. Just like how Rukmani, you came and kidnapped Rukmani. Please come and take me off. Huh? Please remove all my anarthas. I still have a lot of anarthas. So that you can make this kind of prayer to Krishna. Come on, when are you going to do it? I can't take this kind of condition of life anymore. So please, right? Like that you can do, right? So it is stated in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th chapter, verse 5. First canto. When Lord Krishna returned from the battlefield of Kurukshetra to his home at Dwaraka, all the residents of Dwaraka began to talk among himself. He said, as a child talks lovingly to his father after the father returned from the foreign country. This is an example of jubilation. Can Vaishnava Prabhu can tell me what are the other festival jubilation they experience when Krishna enters Dwaraka? Many people were throwing, and people were like just like, okay, like example, like when Lord Ramachandra, right, after his exile, he's coming back. When the people of Ayodhya, they heard that Lord Ram is coming back, they start to it's as though their life has written, right? For the time of exile, they never even maintain themselves. They never even take their bath. They become like dish shelf. The men, the women are all the hair became dish shelf. Dish shelf, right? They don't know what they are eating. They have not eaten. They are so frustrated. It is just like a country of mourning. It is just like a great catastrophe came and hit the country, Ayodhya, a great catastrophe. And after the catastrophe, people are so frustrated and they are so in morose, right? They are in extreme stress, sadness, and the environment there looks so ghastly, look like a ghost town. There's no lamp lit. There's nothing. They were just sitting in one place. They were lamenting and crying and crying and crying. But when they heard Lord Ram is coming, what they did? Immediately, they start to clean up the area, put on pentons, like tornum, that banana leaf and all the leaves, mango leaves, right? They start to decorate the place. They start to clean the town, they wash the house, they clean the house, everything nicely. Then after that, they went and take oil bath. Oil bath is, of course, to get rid of all that inauspicious thing, right? They take an oil bath and they start to, they went and get a new dress. Okay, they start to put on a fresh clothes, a new clothing, right? And they lit the lamp. The place was so hidden and this thing. So they put up the lamp because Lord Ram is coming, right? So that's called jubilation. And that's a festival we celebrate as Deepavali, right? So we take bath, we wash the temple, we wash the thing. But of course, now we think Deepavali is like another, what they call, why you're cleaning the house? Because Mahalakshmi coming to the house, all right? Because they say goddess of fortune coming to the house. So that's the idea. But actually, there's a festival of this, okay? So this is an example of jubilation. Then, when Bahulasva, the king of Mithila, saw Krishna at his palace, he decided to offer his respect by bowing down before him at least 100 times. But was so overcome by feeling of love that after bowing down only once, he forgot his position and could not rise again. Right? He was such a great ecstasy, he decided to bow down 100 times. 100 times. 1, 2, 3. But one time he fell down. After that, he just forget himself and he doesn't want to do it further. He could not rise again. So in Skanda Purana, a devotee tells Lord Krishna, my dear Lord, as the sun evaporates all the water on the ground by the scorching heat, so my mental state has dried away the luster of my face and body. Why? Due to separation from you. This is an example withering in ecstatic love. All right. So withering in Tamil, what you call kaya poradhu, kanji poradhu. Kayirudhu. Okay. You put a cloth, veila kayirudhu. So it's all becoming withering. Okay. An expression of disappointment was made by Indra, the king of heaven. So Indra, what he did? When he saw that sun god Indra told him, my dear sun god, your sunshine is very glorious because it reaches unto the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, the master of the Yadu dynasty. I have thousands of eyes, but they have proved to be useless because not even a moment they're able to see the, the lotus feet of the Lord. What does that mean? Okay. So the expression of disappointment was expressed by Indra. Why? Because he said, Surya Dev, Lord, the sun god, the sun rays even can go and touch the lotus feet of this thing. But what happened? But he says, I got thousands of eyes. Indra got eyes all over the body. All right. He got eyes all over the body. Okay. Why? How come he got eyes all over the body? We will discuss that in Srimad Bhagavatam. When we start Srimad Bhagavatam class, a day you miss the class is considered a big loss. All right. And even if you miss the class, the next moment you must watch the video attentively, because Srimad Bhagavatam, the flow must go on. All right. So just anyway, I don't go into that. It's so exciting. Then reverential devotion. Okay. What happened? For the Lord gradually increases and transform itself into ecstatic love. So sometimes we say, oh, that means reverence is it okay or not? Yes, no problem. On reverence, Bhaya Bhakti. Right? So reverential devotional service of the Lord will gradually increase. And that gradual increases of this reverence, okay, it increases. And this is also transformed. All right? It increases, then transform into what? Into ecstatic love. Okay? And affection. And then attachment. So in the 10th canto, Srimad Bhagavatam 38 chapter verse 6. Right? Here in Srimad Bhagavatam, Akrura says what? Because I am going to see Lord Krishna today, all symptoms of inauspiciousness have already been killed. The symptoms of inauspiciousness is already dead. My life now successful, because I shall be able to offer my respect unto the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of God. Another devotee in ecstatic reverential affection once said, when will that glorious day in my life come when it will be possible for me to go to the bank of Yamuna to see Lord Sri Krishna playing there as a cowherd boy? Okay. When there is no diminishing of this ecstatic love, and when he's freed from all kinds of doubt, okay, that means what? When there is no diminishing of ecstatic love. That means once you get ecstatic love, it doesn't become dim. It keep on going brighter and brighter and brighter. All right. And we want to do that. What happened? Another thing, it has to be freed from all kinds of doubt. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, right, a doubtful person can never progress in life. All right. Okay, that's a nice, pretty a very nice word. So you freed from all kinds of doubt. So what happened? The devotee has reached to the stage called steady love for Krishna. In this stage, all expression of unhappiness by the devotee are called anubhava, or ecstatic loving symptoms. All right. So that means in this stage, okay, in this stage, all expression of unhappiness, even all the expression by the devotee is also called as anubhava. Even that unhappiness is also, because now what we are discussing is all the unhappiness, moroseness, madness, ghastliness, even this kind of what do you call unhappiness, it still follows under anubhava. All right. So what is this feeling? This is called supplementary of the ecstatic feeling. All right. You all following me on this? If you follow, put a thumbs up. You understand what I say? Hello? Anybody home?
Yes.
Okay, right. Okay. Now, So the symptoms of ecstatic affection, all right, the symptoms of ecstatic, okay, the symptoms of ecstatic affection with reference also felt by Bali Maharaj. Okay, what does that mean? See, the symptoms of ecstatic affection with reverence. Okay, what does that mean? Okay, see, like for instance, the prema or the ecstatic without awe and reverence is with Krishna. Okay, but here the ecstatic affection with reverence, bayindukittu bhakti, like follow the rules, or like how the king, right? When the king comes, there's a protocol, you have to get up. Even that kind of ecstatic affection with reverence felt by Bali Maharaj. Why? Because he's seeing Vamanadev, who is a Vishnu Tattva. Vishnu, all right, was expressed as follows. He said, "My dear Lord, you have simultaneously punished me," right? Punished him because he pushed him down, and showed me your causeless mercy. My conclusion is that when I have taken shelter at your lotus feet, I shall never be disturbed by any condition of life. I shall not. So it's a kind of bold declaration. I shall never be disturbed by any condition of life. Okay. So this is something that we should always remember. Okay. So that's a conclusion that Bali Maharaj came up with. What he said, when I have taken shelter at your lotus feet. So once we have taken shelter at the lotus feet of Sri Krishna, my dear Prabhus and mothers, we should always be fearless, right? Because there's nothing, there's nothing, because you are under the care of the Supreme Personality, and he will take care of you nicely. And there's nothing to be worried about, nothing to be scared about. Everything we just simply depend on Krishna. Krishna will take care. Right? So once I have taken shelter at your lotus feet, I shall never be disturbed in any condition of life. Then he continued, whether you give me that opportunity to enjoy all the yogi perfection, or you put me into the most abominable condition, hellish life, I shall never be disturbed. Okay, because he was pushed down into Patala Loka, the lower planetary system. After pushing him down, then what happened? Lord Vamanadev then as the guard, the entrance into that place. Right? So it's like that. So I shall never be disturbed. Yes. So we all should always remember that. I shall never be disturbed because I have taken shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord. If you are still disturbed, what is that indication? What is that indication? Oh, I've taken shelter and sometimes I'm disturbed. I'm going into anxiety. I'm going into frustration. I'm feeling like people are like harming me. Like, I cannot get along with people. What does that mean? That's a clear sign. Your shelter or your surrender to the Lord is still haven't been complete. We are still identifying with our senses. When we get disturbed, when someone come and challenge you, when someone come and say, hey, you look like an idiot, yeah, you look like that. So what we can understand, it's what we have studied all these books so far. We still have that bodily identification. When someone call me a fool, they are not calling me a fool. They're calling the identification of this body. And I got nothing to do with the body, right? Like example, when you're driving, suddenly one Muslim enter, you get very angry. Hey, idiot, don't have to drive. Shout at the fella, right? And come back home and say, wow, this Mercedes fella, crazy, like, entered my lane, almost to bang him. So actually, you are cursing with the car, not the driver inside, right? So this is something also you can add on in your journal, all right? So what are the things that I should always take care? Okay. Krishna himself, after seeing Bali Maharaj, he told Uddhava, okay, my dear friend, how can I express the glorious character of Bali Maharaj, the son of Virochana? Although the king of Suras, demigods, were cursed by the son of Virochana, and although I cheated him in my incarnation as Vamanadev, So Krishna is telling, even I cheated him. He came as a small boy and asked 3 pieces of land. Suddenly became giant and conquered everything. He cheated him, taking away his dominion throughout the universe. He actually dominated the whole universe. He took it away. Although I still criticize him for not fulfilling his promise, I have just now seen him in his kingdom, and he feelingly expressed his love for me. Right? So when such a feeling of love become intensified, okay, when the feeling of love become intensified, that feeling is called as affection. And in that affectional stage, one cannot bear separation from Krishna even for a moment. They cannot bear the separation from Krishna even for a moment. Are you all following me on that? One devotee told Daruka, he said, the servant of Krishna, my dear Daruka, when you became like a wood, when you became like a wood because of your separation from Krishna, it is not so wonderful. Whenever any devotee sees Krishna, his eyes become filled with water. In separation, any devotee like you could become stunned, standing just like a wooden doll. That is not a very wonderful thing. All right. So they say, you're standing there because you become stunned, you just stand like a doll. He said, that's not a wonderful thing. Then there's also a statement about Uddhava's symptoms of love. Uddhava's symptoms of love. When he saw Lord Krishna, his eyes filled with tears and created a river which flowed down towards the sea of Krishna. So that means he cried so profusely, it's just like a river flow down and reaches the sea, who is Krishna. And what? To offer a tribute. As a wife offers tribute to her husband, when his body erupted with goose pimple, he appeared like a kadamba flower. When he began to offer prayer, he appeared completely distinct from all other devotees. All right? He stand out with all other devotees. Now, when affection is symptomized, okay, when the affection, I tell you, but it's all right. So now, when the affection is symptomized in direct happiness and distress, symptomized in direct happiness and distress, it is called attraction. So when the affection symptomized, or there's a symptoms of affection by direct happiness and distress, happiness or distress, this is called as attraction. In such an attracted stage of ecstatic love, one can face all kinds of disadvantage calmly. All right. When there's a strong advantage, attraction, they can face all kinds of disadvantage very relaxed, calmly. Even at the risk of death, such a devotee is never bereft of transcendental loving service to the Lord. All right. Even at the risk of death, even there's a challenges and everything. They say you give up Krishna consciousness or kill you. There's a risk of dying, but still they can never they face all the disadvantage very calmly. Okay, because of strong attraction. Now, a glorious example of this ecstatic love was exhibited by King Parikshit. Okay, when he was at the point of death. Okay, when he was at the point of death, although he was bereft of all entire kingdom. Okay. Yes. Okay. So, even although he was bereft of entire kingdom, which spread all over the world. That means his kingdom is all over the world. Although he was accepting not even a drop of water in 7 days. In 7 days, he didn't even take a drop of water remaining to him because he was engaged in hearing the transcendental pastime of the Lord from Shukadev Goswami. He was not in at least distressed. In contrary, he was feeling direct transcendental ecstatic joy in association with Shukadev Goswami. So even Parikshit Maharaj was 7 days, he was just getting ready to die. He didn't even take a drop of water. He never got affected. And you know what? He couldn't take his eyes away because 7 days. He became so joyfully hearing the Krishna Katha, Srimad Bhagavatam from Sukadev Goswami. That means in association with Sukadev Goswami. Then one devotee has confidentially expressed his opinion. How? Confidently expressed his opinion. He said, if a drop of Lord Krishna mercy can be bestowed upon me, not a lot, just even a drop, then I shall feel completely carefree, even in the midst of fire or an ocean. Even it's a fire or an ocean. But if I become bereft of his causeless mercy, if I don't get that mercy, even if I become the king of Dwaraka, I would simply be an object of pinpricks. All right. So that means I'm always the object of pin criticism. That means he's not going to be really happy about it. Devotees such as Maharaj Parikshit and Uddhava are all situated in ecstatic attraction on the basis of affection. And in that stage of affection, feeling friendship became manifest. Right? Who? Devotees such as Maharaj Parikshit and Uddhava are all situated in ecstatic attraction in the basis of affection. In that stage, okay, it's feeling of friendship became manifest. It just feel like as though they are friends. When Uddhava was freed from all material contamination, he saw the Lord and his throat became choked up and he could not speak. By the movement of his eyebrow alone, he was embracing the Lord, just by eyebrow. Okay, such ecstatic love has been divided by great scholars in two groups. That means addition and subtraction. Okay, plus and minus. All right. So addition and subtraction. So if a devotee is not directly associated with the Lord, if the devotee is not directly associated with the Lord, it is called as subtraction. Right? And in this state of love, one is constantly fixed in the mind at the lotus feet of the Lord. If the devotee in his state of becoming very eager to learn from the transcendental qualities of the Lord. Okay. So what does that mean? Subtraction. A devotee is not direct association with the Lord. So like us, we are now don't have a direct association with the Lord. So we are under the category of subtraction. Okay. In this situation, what usually we do? A devotee is constantly fixed with his mind at the lotus feet of the Lord. He always meditates on the lotus feet of the Lord. And in this state, he becomes very eager to learn the transcendental qualities of the Lord. And that is what we are actually doing now. We are trying to learn the transcendental qualities of Krishna. The most important business of such a devotee is attaining the association of devotee, association of the Lord. The most important business devotee is attaining. Such a devotee is attaining the association of the Lord. Okay. So in Narasingha Purana, there's a statement about King Ikshvaku, which illustrates the state of ecstatic love. Okay. Because of this great affection for Krishna, King Ikshvaku became greatly attached to that black cloud, the black deer, the deer's black eyes, and the lotus flower, which is always compared to the eyes of the Lord. All right. So King Ikshvaku, what happened? Because he's so attracted to Krishna, all right, in such ecstatic love, he started to like black cloud. When he sees the black cloud, he remembers Krishna. He likes black deer. He likes the deer's black eye. And also like the lotus flower. Why? Because the lotus flower always compared to the eyes of Krishna. What is that? Pundarikaksham. Okay. Right. So now it's 10:05. Shall we just take a short break? Okay, we just take a short break. Say 1-2 minutes. Then we continue. Hare Krishna. Oh, I can't do that. Okay, I need to do it here. All right, just take a short break. Okay, Hare Krishna. Shall we continue? Okay. All right. So now let's look at the 10 Canto. 10 Canto, 10 Canto, 38 chapter, verse 10, the Bhagavatam. Now it's mentioning about Akrura. Akrura thinks, since the Lord has now appeared to diminish the great burden of the world, and now visible to everyone's eye in his personal transcendental body, then when we see him before us, all right, is that the ultimate perfection to our eyes. Okay, so when we see him before us, is that not the ultimate perfection in our eyes? He's asking that. In other words, Akrura realized that the perfection of the eyes is fulfilled when one is able to see Lord Krishna. Okay, therefore, when Lord Krishna was visible on the earthly by direct appearance, everyone who saw him surely attained perfection of sight. Okay, in the Krishna's Karanamrita, written by Bilva Mangala Thakur, there's an expression of eagerness in ecstatic love. Eagerness. How miserable is it, my dear Krishna? Oh, friend of the hopeless, oh, merciful Lord, how can I pass this thankless day without seeing you? A similar sentiment was also expressed by Uddhava when he wrote a letter to Krishna. He said, my dear Supreme King of Vraja, you are the vision of nectar for the eyes. You are the vision of nectar for the eyes. And without seeing your lotus feet and effulgence of your body, my mind is always morose. My mind is always morose. I cannot perceive any peace under any circumstances. Beside that, I am feeling every moment separation to like a duration of many, many long years. Okay, just a moment of separation, they felt as though it's going to be a very long period of time. All these things, why it's happening? Because of ecstatic love. All right. When we talk about love, of course, love is there. But when we talk about ecstatic love, ecstasy, like sometimes that when people go and take that drug, ecstasy drug, they become ecstasy. They start to shake their head so hard. That means they are beyond the bodily expression. I'm not talking about the drugs. I'm just giving an example. When a person becomes excited is different. But ecstasy, in that ecstatic situation, the experience that a devotee goes through is beyond bodily concept. They will talk like a mad people. Because of ecstatic love, the gopis going and hugging all the trees and saying, are you Krishna? Are you came here to dance with me? And they'll be sitting, lamenting, and what they call, they're always under distress. And he says, and Uddhava was telling here, he wrote a letter to Krishna. That means when he wrote a letter to Krishna means what? That means he has separated from Krishna. That means he's not with Krishna. He said, my dear Supreme King of Vraja, your vision is nectar to the eyes. And without seeing you and the effulgence of your body, my mind is always morose. And my mind is always disturbed. I cannot perceive any peace. All right? Under any circumstance. So now we are all studying all the while when a feminine feature like gopis are in love for Krishna. But here we are studying about the masculine feature like Akrura, like Uddhava, like Bali Maharaj. All of them, even they have that same kind of sentiment. All right? So it's the same kind of. So that means now we are studying another thing, like how even a masculine part of Krishna, a devotee who also have that same ecstatic feeling how the gopis is. So what we can understand from this? To be in love for Krishna or to be madly love in Krishna, in that thing called ecstasy, it is actually the constitutional position of a jiva. It's a thing that is inbuilt in every living jiva. Right? It is not something that, oh, I got a feminine body, I did it. No. But even in a male body, even as a sakha, friendship, even in that friendship, the devotees also going through this kind of great lamentation when they start to miss Krishna. When they see Krishna, they also go into great jubilation. Okay. Now, In the Krishna Karnamrita, who wrote Krishna Karnamrita again? Can anyone tell me? Who is the author of Krishna Karnamrita?
Bilva Mangala.
Bilva Mangala Thakur. Okay. Again he said, my dear Lord, you are the ocean of mercy. You are the ocean of mercy. With my arms placed upon my head, I am bowing down before you. Putting my hand, I'm bowing down before you. With all humility and sincerity, I am praying unto you, my Lord. Would you please just to sprinkle a little of water of your glance upon me? That will be great satisfaction. Okay. So this is the example of how we should pray to Krishna. You know. So he said, can you just please with me? Can you be pleased just to sprinkle a little of water of your glance? Just a little step. All right. Then he says, a devotee of Lord Krishna said, when Shashi Shekhara, okay, when even Shashi Shekhara is another name of Lord Shiva. Okay. When Shashi Shekhara is unable to see you, what chance is there for me? Even the Shashi Shekhara is unable to see you. What is my chance? Who am lower than the ordinary worm. I have only committed misdeeds. I have only committed misdeeds. That means I've done a lot of misdeeds. I know that I am not at all fit to offer my prayers to you. I am not fit. But because you are known as Dina Bandhu. What is Dina Bandhu? Dina means fallen. Bandhu means friend. Banda. All right, Dina. So, a friend of the fallen. I humbly pray that you will kindly purify me by the beams of your transcendental glance. If I become thoroughly bathed by your merciful glance, then I may be saved. Therefore, my Lord, I am requesting you to please bestow upon me your merciful glance. Please look at me. Okay, so that's the thing. So in the page 37, chapter 37. So that is the impetus of Krishna's service. Okay. Wow, we have finished this thing. So now the next chapter is 38, indifference and separation. All right, now it's okay. Shall we do this or what do you think? It was a short this thing. Shall we continue, my dear Prabhus and mothers?
Yes, Prabhu.
Oh, okay. Hey, you are here. Saki Champa Kalata Mataji. Hare Krishna, welcome. Okay, let's look at chapter 38. All right, it says indifference and separation. What does that mean? The great devotee Uddhava once wrote a letter to Krishna again. He said, my dear Krishna, I have just finished the study of all kinds of philosophical books and Vedic verses about the goal of life. And so now I have a little reputation for my studies. That means I've studied all the philosophical work and I've studied all that. Now I got little reputation because of my studies. But still, in spite of my reputation, my knowledge is condemned. My knowledge is useless, condemned. Because although enjoying the effulgence of the Vedic knowledge, I could not appreciate the effulgence emanating from the nails of your toes. What do you talk about? Body. The nails of your toes. I can't even appreciate that. Therefore, the sooner my pride and Vedic knowledge are finished, the better it will be. This is an example of indifference. All right? Indifference. So what we can understand from this? Okay. So sometimes being too educated, especially, that doesn't mean that we can get that ecstatic love for Krishna. The side effect of being very educated. So I've done Bhakti Sastri, Bhakti Vaibhava, Bhakti Sarvabhauma, these and things. Right? There's a two part of the coins. One part, we become very humble. We must always remember we must be like a paddy. Right? when you see the paddy, when the rice start to form in paddy, the paddy will start to bow down. Right? There's a proverb in Malay, right? The paddy bow down when the paddy becomes seperti padi berisi. The more the knowledge you acquire, the more the humble a person should be. But sometimes, the more the knowledge a person acquire, the more the ego of the person can be. Oh, I am qualified. I have studied so many books. I have done all this and that. The goal of Vedic studies is what? All right. What is the goal of Vedic studies? What is the goal of Nectar of Devotion? From Vaidhi Sadhana, first we talk about Sadhaka. Right? Sadhaka, being a neophyte Bhakta. Then from there, you become association with devotees. Then from there, we get some kind of nista. That means we become confident. Then anartha nivirti. That means we remove all these anarthas. Right? So then, after all this, the preliminary qualification we pass through, then we come to the level of Vaidhi Sadhana. So we follow all the Vaidhi Sadhana. And after that, we follow Vaidhi Sadhana. Then we talk about Bhava. In Bhava Bhakti, or the ecstatic feeling, what are the symptoms? How to acquire it? Then eventually, now we are coming to Prema. Now we are studying about Prema. What is that ecstatic love? First, we talk about ecstatic devotional service. Now we talk about ecstatic love in devotional service. Prema. So when we are studying all these things, and eventually soon we're going to start our Srimad Bhagavatam, the goal of life, we should become as humble. We are studying all these not to like, of course you can share, you get some ideas, knowledge. But the most important is, for us, we see all these examples that being a Krishna conscious person, we are very fortunate. First, we start to reciprocate. But here, if you notice this past few paragraphs we are reading in the previous chapter and now this current chapter, they are all talking about meeting Krishna personally. So now we are upgrading our knowledge. What happened if we see Krishna? Are you following me? And of course, Uddhava wrote a letter to Krishna. That means he's write a letter in separation. You know, I just finished all the studies, all the verses about the goal of life. And now I got little reputation. So in spite of my reputation, okay, but still my knowledge is condemned. Why? Because although enjoying the effulgence of Vedic knowledge, although enjoying the knowledge of Vedas, I could not approach the effulgence emanating even at the lotus feet. So that means the bhakti yoga, the ecstatic and the sincere love, affection for Krishna is more important than being a studious person who have all the qualification in the world. You got it? Another devotee very anxiously expressed himself this. He said, my mind is flickering. You know, when you on the light is like choke, spoil, you know, right? They call flickering. I cannot, because my mind is flickering, so I cannot concentrate it upon your lotus feet. And seeing this inefficiency in myself, I become ashamed. I feel so ashamed. The whole night I am unable to sleep because I'm exasperated by my great inability. All right? Because you find it as a great inability because the mind is keep flickering. Okay? Then, again in Krishna Karnamrita, Bilva Mangal Thakur has explained he's restless as follows. His restlessness. He explained about his restlessness as follows. He said, my dear Lord, your naughtiness in boyhood is most wonderful thing in the three world. Okay? And you yourself know that this is naughtiness is. What is this naughtiness is? As such, you can very easily understand my flickering mind. This is known to you as me. All right? This is known to you and me. Therefore, I am simply yearning to know how to fix. I'm yearning. That means I'm yearning, all right? To know how I can fix my mind at the lotus feet. How can I fix my mind? So even you want to fix your mind at the lotus feet of Krishna, you have to pray to Krishna. You have to ask him can you just give me what they call the wood, so that I can concentrate my mind at the lotus feet? Then another devotee expressed his impudence by saying, my dear Lord, without considering my lowly position, I must confess to you that my eyes are just like the black wasp, desiring to hover at your lotus feet. All right? I must confess to you. I want to be like a bee that want to go around your lotus feet. In the 7th canto, Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th chapter, verse 37, the great sage Narada informed Maharaj Yudhishthira about Prahlad Maharaj, who was a devotee from very beginning of his life. The proof of Prahlad's natural devotion is that even when he was a small child, he did not play with his playmates, but was always eager to preach the glories of the Lord. Instead of joining in their sportive acrobatic feats, he remained an inactive child because he was always in trance, meditating on Krishna. As such, there was no possibility of his being touched by the external world. The following statement is about a Brahmana devotee. A Brahmana is a very expert in all kinds of activity, but I do not know why he is looking up without moving his eyes. Right? But I do not know why he's looking up without moving his eyes. It appears that his body fixed motionless just like the doll. Now I can guess, in this condition, he has been captivated by the transcendental beauty of that expert flute player, Sri Krishna. And being attached to him, he is simply staring at the black cloud, remembering the bodily hue of Sri Krishna. This is an example of how a devotee can become inert due to ecstatic love. So when you start to look at that, so we can also engage in our mind in thinking, looking at all the environment. So whenever we see a black cloud, we remember Krishna. No? Whenever we see all these kind of things, we can tell. So this is a kind of, what they call example of how a devotee can become inert. Inert means what? Jam. Just like cannot be not expressive. All right. Okay. In Srimad Bhagavatam 7 Canto 4 chapter verse 40, Prahlad Maharaj says that even in his childhood, he was loudly speaks the glories of the Lord. He used to dance just like a shameless madman. And sometimes he being fully absorbed in thought of the pastime of the Lord, he used to imitate such pastimes. This is an instance of devotee being almost like a madman. Okay. Now, similarly, it is said that the great sage Narada was so ecstatic in love of Krishna. He is in such a great ecstatic in love of Krishna that he would sometimes dance naked. Who? Narada. He was so much instinct that he would sometimes dance naked. What does that mean, dance naked? That means he will be like so in ecstasy, he'd start dancing. He don't even remember, he don't even realize that his dhoti is like falling off. And sometimes his whole body would become stunned. And sometimes he would laugh very loudly. Sometimes he would cry very loudly. Sometimes he would remain silent. And sometimes he would appear to be suffering from some disease, although he had no disease. Therefore, this is another instance of becoming like a madman in the ecstatic of devotion. Okay. In the Hari Bhakti Sudodaya, it is stated that when Prahlad Maharaj was thinking himself unfit to approach Supreme Lord, he immersed himself in great distress, in an ocean of unhappiness. As such, he used to shed tears, lie down on the floor as being unconscious. The students of great devotee once talk among themselves in this way. My dear God brothers, our spiritual master, after seeing the lotus feet of the Lord, he has thrown himself into the fire of lamentation. Okay. Because of this fire of the water, because of this fire, the water of his life has almost dried away. Let us now pour the nectar of the holy name through his ears. Right? After Sri Krishna, the spiritual master went into this, he's in fire of separation. They said, now let us pour water. Pour water in how? In holy name, into the ears. And by our doing so, swan of his life may again show signs again. That means it looks like he'll come back to his consciousness. When Lord Krishna went to the city of Shonitapura to fight with Bali's son Bana, to cut off all his hands, Uddhava being separated from Krishna and thinking of his fight, was almost completely stunned into unconsciousness. Okay. When a devotee is fully in love with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there may be the following symptoms due to his feeling of separation from the Lord. A feverish condition. So there, when a devotee fully in love, there may be following symptoms due to feeling of separation. One is feverish, kachal, condition of the body. Withering, that means feel like body is getting dry up. Lack of sleep, non-attachment, inertness, appearing diseased, madness, unconsciousness, and sometimes death. You know, when they miss Krishna. As far as the feverish condition in the body is concerned, okay, when you talk about now we discuss the feverish condition. Uddhava once told Narada, my dear great sage, the lotus flower that is a friend of the sun may be cause distress for us. The fire in the ocean may cause some burning sensation. And Indivara, the friend of moon, may distress us in various ways. We do not mind. But the most regrettable factor is that all of them remain reminders of Krishna. That means by the most regrettable factor is that all of them remind us of Krishna, and this is giving us so much of distress. They keep reminding them about Krishna, they become more distressed. This is an instance of feverish condition which is due to being separated from Krishna. All right? When they are separated, kachale vandirudhu. Some of the devotees who went to see Krishna in Dwaraka were detained at the door. All right? Who are the devotees? Some of the devotees went to Krishna. Who are the devotees? Detained at the door. He said, my dear Krishna, O friend of Pandus, as the swan loves to dive into the water among the lily flower and would die if taken away from the water. So we wish only to be with you. Our limbs are shrinking and fading because you have been taken away from us. Who is these people now? Who is the people who went to see Krishna in Dwaraka? And they were stopped at the door side.
Sudama Prabhu.
Now, devotees of Krishna. Devotees are more than one. Sudama, there.
Kuchilin, oral the monare.
Okay, now let's look at this, Mataji. First, the word is devotees, more than one. And they stopped at the door side. And they said, oh, dear Krishna, the friend of Pandus, as the swan loves to dive into the water among the lily flowers and found it die, and would die taken out from the water. So, we, the word is we is here. Our limbs, that means more than one, are shrinking. And when they're taken away from us. So, this is what Urala, Pala Ala.
Alal Prabhu. Alal.
Pala. So, this is what happened? Who is this devotee now? Went to see Krishna in Dwaraka. Can anyone? Vaishnava Prabhu?
No idea.
All right. These are the Gopals and Gopis will be going to see Krishna from Mathura. All right. They all go and see Krishna, and of course they want to see Krishna, and all the guard, the security will stop. Hey, who are you? Oh, I'm a Krishna's friend. Huh? You all just imagine farmers. The cow herders and the farmers suddenly stand in front of the kingdom gate and says, I want to see Krishna. They say Krishna is singing, right?
Hare
Now
Krishna. Are they from Vrindavan or Madura?
Vrindavan.
Vrindavan. You said Madura.
Oh, same, both same area. Vrindavan is the place where he had his what they call? His
Past time.
yeah, past time. Madura, Vrindavan, yeah.
Okay.
It's all under Madura district, Vrindavan. So from Vrindavan, they all went there with Adu, Badu, with all the things. Go there. You know, sometimes when you watch in Tamil movie, right? They say, hey, Yardi, why the farmers are here? So when they were stopped, the devotees start to say, hey, look here. You know, we can't take, we only wish to be with you. Our limbs are shrinking and fading because you have been taken away from us. So Krishna was taken away from Vrindavan. The king of Bahula, although very comfortable, situated in his palace, begin to think that night very long. He thinks the night is so long and distressing because his separation from Krishna. Another example. King Yudhishthira once said, Krishna, all right? He said, Krishna, the chariot driver of Arjuna, Partha Sarathi, is the only relative of mine, is the only relative of mine within the three worlds. Therefore, my mind is becoming maddened day and night with separation from his lotus feet. I do not know how to situate myself, or where shall I go to attain my steadiness of mind. This is another example of lack of sleep in separation. Some of the coward friends of Krishna said, Dear Krishna, O enemy of Mura demon, just think of your personal servant Raktaka. Simply because he saw a peacock feather, one of the servants of Krishna, Raktaka, when he saw the peacock feather, he is now closing his eyes and is no longer attentive in pasturing the cows. Okay, when he saw the peacock feather, he closed his eyes and he just thinking about Krishna's, the peacock on his forehead. He can't even attentive. I mean, the cows are going here and there. He's not paying attention. Rather, he was left them in a faraway pasture and has not been bothered to use the stick to control them. This is an instance of mental imbalance due to separation. Okay. When Lord Krishna went to the capital of King Yudhishthira, Uddhava was so afflicted by the fire of separation from Sri Krishna that the perspiration from his inflamed body and the tears from his eyes poured from him. And in this way, he became completely stunned. Oh, Yudhishthira, Uddhava was afflicted. All right, now, when Sri Krishna left the city of Dwaraka to seek out the Shamantaka jewel, and he was late returning home, Uddhava became so afflicted that the symptoms of disease became manifest in his body. Actually, due to his excessive ecstatic love, okay, prema, Uddhava became known in the Dwaraka as crazy. In Dwaraka, people call Uddhava is crazy. This is the great fortune. Okay, it's considered a great fortune. It's great fortune that on that day, Uddhava's reputation as a crazy fellow was firmly established. Okay. So sometimes as a devotee, when you become like this, please don't go to see psychiatric doctor. This is a kind of ecstatic symptoms are manifesting in your heart. All right. Okay. So Uddhava's craziness was practically proof that he went to Raivataka hill to minutely observe the congested black cloud. In his disturbed condition, he began to pray to these clouds and he expressed his jubilation by bowing down before them. Uddhava informed Krishna, my dear leader of the Yadu, your servants in Vrindavan cannot sleep at night thinking of you. So now they are all lying down on the bank of Yamuna, almost paralyzed. And it appears that they are almost dead. Because their breathing is very slow, it's an instance of becoming unconscious due to separation from Krishna, the Prajavasis. Krishna was once informed, you are the life and soul of all inhabitants of Vrindavan. So because you have left Vrindavan, all of the servitors of your lotus feet, they are all suffering. It is as if the lakes filled with lotus flowers have dried up from the scorching heat of separation from you. In the example given here, the inhabitants of Vrindavan are compared to lakes filled with lotus flowers. And because of the scorching heat of separation from Krishna, the lakes along with the lotus flowers of their lives are being burned up. And the swans in the lake who are compared to the vitality of inhabitants of Vrindavan are no longer desiring to live there. In other words, because of scorching heat, the swans are leaving the lake. The metaphor is used to describe the condition of devotees separated from Krishna. Okay. So, Ashishtam na gatate bhakti kutrapya sav murti. Shobha katva viyogasya jata prayeti katyati. Okay. So, with this, we have already completed chapter 38. Any questions? How big is chapter 39? (41), 39. 1, 2, 2.5 page. Shall we do this? Oops, Mataji,
Hey, Prabhu.
someone is drawing something. Okay. 1. Okay. Okay, we do 39. Because after this, you see, all the chapters are very small. So this is all basically reading lab, right? Ways of meeting Krishna. Wow, this one takes a lot of discussion, Mataji. Sure, you want to do this, when Lord Krishna and his devotee meet, is a devotee technique called yoga.
Hey, Prabhu.
Okay. All right. So now let's look at this. 39. When Krishna and his devotee meet, the meeting is technically called yoga. Saras Mataji, you're drawing something. Okay. So when Krishna and devotees meet, the meeting technically called yoga or linking up. So we understand what is yoga means. Yoga means linking up. All right. It's not stretching your hand, stretching your leg, doing exercise. Okay. Now, right, linking up with the Lord. Such meeting between Krishna and devotees can be divided into 3 classes. Can be divided into 3 classes. That means perfection, satisfaction, steadiness. Okay, now let's look at these 3 things. When a devotee meets Krishna in great eagerness, that state of meeting is called as perfection. When you go and meet, devotee meets with Krishna in great eagerness. In Krishna Karnamrita, Bilva Mangal Thakur described how Krishna meets his devotee. With peacock feather in his head, with Marakata jewel, Maragadam, on his chest, with his eye, with the enchanting smile, his restless eyes, his very delicate body. Okay, that is how Krishna meets his devotee. In the 10th canto, Srimad Bhagavatam, 38th chapter, verse 34, Sukadev Goswami tells King Parikshit, my dear king, as soon as Akrura, the chariot driver, saw Lord Krishna and his elder brother Balaram in Vrindavan, he immediately got down from the chariot and began greatly afflicted by the affection of the transcendental Lord. Fell down upon his lotus feet and offered respectful obeisances. There are many such instances of perfectional meeting with Krishna. Okay. Now, when a devotee meets Krishna after a long separation, that meeting will become satisfaction. So, when we are separated from Krishna for so long, then once at the end of this life, we go and see him. When we get a chance to meet Krishna, the meeting with the Lord is going to give us a huge satisfaction. Okay, the first canto, Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th chapter, verse 10, he stated that when Lord Krishna returned to capital Dwaraka, the inhabitant says, my dear Lord, if you remain in foreign countries for so long, we shall certainly be bereft of seeing your smiling face. We cannot see your face. Upon observing your face, your eternal servitors, we become greatly satisfied. All the anxiety of our existence are immediately mitigated. If we cannot see you because you are long absent from Dwaraka, then it will be impossible for us to live anymore. This is an instance of satisfaction in meeting with Krishna after a long separation. Krishna's personal servant Daruka, seeing Krishna at the door of Dwaraka, forget to offer him respect with folded hands. Because you always see Krishna, he becomes stunned. When a devotee ultimately situated in the association of Krishna, his position is called as steadiness in devotional service. Okay? Because always seeing Krishna, he also forget, all right, to offer his obeisances. Right? Yata Hangsadute. The steady position of the devotional service is explained in the book called Hangsaduta. All right. It is described that how Akrura, who was considered by the gopis to be a terror personified. Akrura was considered by the gopis as a terror personified, would talk with Krishna about the activity of the Kuru dynasty. Similarly, a similar steady position was held by Uddhava. The similar steady position was held by Uddhava, the disciple of Brahaspati. He would always massage the lotus feet of Krishna while kneeling down at the ground before him. When a devotee is engaged in the service of the Lord, he is said to have reached the attainment of yoga. That means what? When the devotee is engaged in the service of the Lord, he has said he have reached the, what they call, attainment of yoga. So this is very important. When a devotee engaged in the service, he is said to have reached the attainment of yoga. All right? That means he have already become connected nicely. The English equivalent to the word yoga is linking up. So actual linking up with Krishna, the Supreme Lord, begin when the devotee renders service upon him, unto him. So first thing, we render service. Devotee situated in the transcendental rasa as servitorship rendered by the particular service whenever there is an opportunity. Sometimes they sit down in front of Krishna or receive orders. Some persons are reluctant to accept this level of devotional service as actual bhakti yoga. All right? Sometimes they say, this is not the real bhakti yoga. And in some of the Puranas also, there is also the servitorship of devotional service of Krishna is not accepted as the actual bhakti yoga system. Okay, sometimes in certain Puranas or some people, they don't accept. All right, servitorship is a bhakti, is part of the bhakti yoga system. They don't accept. But Srimad Bhagavatam is clearly indicated that servitorship relationship with Krishna is the actual beginning of the yoga realization. Okay, when we start to serve the Lord, that's when actually the beginning of yoga realization. In the 11th canto, Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd chapter, verse 32, he stated that when devotees are engaged in discharge of bhakti yoga, sometimes they can cry from thinking of Krishna, sometimes they laugh, sometimes they become jubilant, sometimes they talk in a very uncommon way, sometimes they dance, sometimes they sing, sometimes they are actually engaged in service of the Lord. Sometimes they are actually engaged, and sometimes they sit down silently as if absorbed in trance. Okay. Similarly, in the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 7, verse 34, Prahlad Maharaj said to his friend, my dear friends, as soon as a pure devotee of the Lord, as soon as a pure devotee of Lord Krishna hear the transcendental pastime of the Lord, who is eternal reservoir of pastime, or hear about his transcendental qualities, they become overpowered with jubilation. Okay, who? The pure devotees. Ecstatic symptoms are manifest in their body. They start to show some kind of symptoms. They shed tears, talk faltering, tadumatra vartai, pesradu, glorify the Lord in the loud voice, and chant and dance in ecstasy. These ecstatic are always there, but sometimes they overcome all limits. Right? These ecstatic are always there, but sometimes they overcome all limits, and the symptoms become manifest to all. Okay? Now, in the process of surrender unto the Supreme Lord, there are 6 items. Number 1, to accept everything favorable for devotional service. To reject everything unfavorable for devotional service. To believe that Krishna will always give protection. To identify oneself with Krishna's devotee. Right? Identify oneself with Krishna's devotee. Always feel inability without the help of Krishna. And always to think oneself inferior to Krishna. Even though one may have full capacity to perform something on his own. Okay? When one is substantially convinced that he is always protected by Krishna in all circumstances, that feeling is called reverential devotional service. All right? Reverential devotion. So now, reverential devotion is executed in relationship with Supreme Personality and with his other protected devotees. Okay? When Krishna was residing in Dwaraka, some of the elderly members of Yadu would occasionally put some important matters before him. At such time, Krishna would carefully give attention to these matters. And if there was some humorous topic mentioned, Krishna would immediately respond with smiling face. Sometimes when Krishna was executing his duty in the assembly known as Sudharma, he would ask the elderly members for a good advice. Even Krishna take advice. By such activities, he manifests as the Supreme Master, Supreme Spiritual Master, the Supreme Executive Head, the superior intelligence, and supreme power. protector and maintainer. Okay, so that we have already done 39. So I think we better stop here. So tomorrow we'll continue 40. Chapter 40. So we did how many chapters today? 40. We start from 37, right? 37, 38, 39. Yes or not? 3 chapters. 37 impetus. Yes. 37, 38, 39. All right. So any questions? All good? Today is just reading only. Just go on reading. And today for the first time, I'm doing YouTube live. Now is the thing is also going live in YouTube. All right. Any questions, my dear Prabhus and mothers? All good? Okay. How come nobody's saying anything? Mesmerized or confused? Am I audible?
Okay, good. Well.
Ah, okay. Thank God.
Yeah,
I
you
think.
came in YouTube. The picture came up in YouTube. Well.
Oh, I see, see.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's been live there also.
Red dress and all that. Well.
Sorry?
Red dress. Red colored dress.
Red color dress. What is that?
Chagapu Chata Babu.
Yaar, yeppe. Nana. Oh, that is for
YouTube.
Gita again. That is for Gita again. Yeah, I wore it.
Yeah, picture was there in the YouTube.
Yes. All right. So if there's no question, we end the session here. Thank you so much for your time. I'm so grateful to each and every one of you. We meet again tomorrow, Wednesday morning at 9:15. Tomorrow's Wednesday, right? Today's Tuesday. Today's Tuesday. Yeah. Today's Tuesday. Tomorrow's Wednesday. Right. So till then, have a nice day. Pancha Kalpatarubhescha Kripa Sindhubevacha Paitaram Pavanibhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namah. Hare Krishna. Have a lovely day.